Good morning. Good morning. We start with Lama Tsongkhapa Guru Yoga, page 3 of the booklet. Sorry, page 1 of the booklet. Yeah. From the heart of the Savior, the 100 deities of Tushita, on a peak of a cloud resembling a clump of extremely white fresh curd, King of Dharma, omniscient Losandrapa, please come here together with your sons. In the sky before me, on a lion throne, lotus and moon, my perfect pure Guru smiles with delight. Supreme field of merit for my mind of faith, please abide for 100 eons to spread the teachings. Your holy mind has the intelligence that understands the full extent of objects to be known. Your holy speech with its excellent explanation is an ear ornament for those of good fortune. Your holy body is radiantly beautiful with glory renowned. To you who are meaningful to see, hear, and remember, I prostrate. Pleasing drinking water, various flowers, fragrant incenses, light, scented waters, and so forth. Oceans of cloud-like offerings, both actually arranged and mentally emanated. I offer to you the supreme field of merit. Whatever non-virtue of body, speech, and mind, especially those opposite to the three vows that I have collected from beginning this time, I confess each and every one with fervent regret from my heart. You strove for much learning and practice in this degenerate age and made your freedoms and riches meaningful by abandoning the 8 worldly concerns. Savior, we sincerely rejoice in your extensive deeds. Perfect, pure, holy gurus from the billowing clouds of wisdom and compassion, guide the Dharmakaya. Please let fall the rain of profound and extensive Dharma upon the receptacle of those to be subdued exactly as they need. May whatever virtue I have collected benefit the teachings in all transmigratory beings, and in particular may it cause the essence of perfect pure Losandrapa's teachings to shine forever. Sashi Apoki Joshi Metok Trablingshi Nide Genpadi Sange Jingdu Mi Te Wa Yidrokunandak Jingla Chuparsho. By the merits of having offered this mandala to Lama Tsongkhapa and his 2 sons, may I, my family members, and all sentient beings be able to meet, practice, and actualize the teaching of the victorious one, Losandrapa, who had the morality of an eminently pure way of life, was courageous in the extensive conduct of the sons of the victorious ones, and accomplished the yoga of 2 stages of bliss, between bliss and emptiness. Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kamniyatayami. By the force of having fervently requested in this way, hollow beams of white light are emitted from the hearts of perfect, pure father and sons, and combining into one enter my crown. White nectar, the color of milk, flows from the opening of the tube of white light, cleansing all my sicknesses, spirit harms, negative karmas, obscurations, and their imprints without exception. My body becomes as pure and clear as crystal. So here we do the 5-line mixima 3 times on page 8. Mikme sewe te chen re zig, dreame kampe wampo jumpel yang, dupon malu shamse sonwe dan, ganchen kepe songen sokapa, losandra pe shabla sowade. Mikme sewe ten chen re zig, dreame kampe wampo jumpel yang, dupon malu malu jonse son wedang ganchen kepe sungen son kapa lo sang drape jabla soa de migme sewe terchen chenre zig dreame kempe wampo jampel yang dupon malu jonse son wedang ganchen kepe sungen son kapa lo sang drape shabla soade. In prayer for the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche by His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Fearless teacher and assembly of the children of the victorious ones, Shravakas and Pradika Buddhas, victorious Losan father and sons, along with their lineage masters, all the objects of refuge of infinite lands, please bestow the virtue and goodness of accomplishing this prayer here and now, holding and spreading the Muni's precious and complete teachings through explanation and practice. You wore the armor of patience that is never discouraged. Incomparable venerable Guru, to you I make request. While striving single-pointedly for the sake of the victorious one's teachings, the sole gateway through which all benefit and happiness emerge, and from other living beings you suddenly departed to peace, what a great loss. Nevertheless, through the undeceiving truth of the blessings of the ocean of the three jewels, and the great waves of bodhicitta of the children of the victorious ones, may the smile of a reincarnation swiftly beam in glory for fortunate disciples.
Sangye Chodang Tsojun Chonum La Chanchu Pardu Dan Kyabsun Chi Dagi Chushi Jeban Dag Drolam Penshe Sangye Drubar Sho Sangye Chodang Tsojun Chonum La Chanchu Pardu Dan Kyabsun Dagi Chushi Jeban Dag Drolam Penshe Sangye Drubar Sho Sangye Chodang Tsojun Chonum La Chanchu Pardu Dan Kyabsun Dagi Chushi Jibanda Dag Dralan Peshe Sanjin Drubar Sho Kangi Tuzi Nizuni Tawa Tamche Pambi Chere Tambi Chun Dunzi Kodam Tela Changse Lo Namo La Yike No Lo Dono Zhige Trevan Dana Mi Yike No Dro Kunji Dranam Chizamba Tamche Ke No Dagi Chuten To. Good morning everyone. Shakadele.
Shakadele.
Get this Chinjun
Hello, check 1, 2, 3.
Good. Patient. Digosare. Koi.
Luchal, akas luchal adish. Beligu bil.
Elgo yeah.
No.
Kazin Gaurumji someone Yapushir Nanson.
Real.
Charimbe.
Oh.
Yesterday, Dalai Lama was teaching Karsa, Sama, Drunkar Sama.
Yes. Long life empowerment of White Tara.
Then he Jitsun Dramakaboti, and he ya sota antus chewina and be chitang mi sesiwa lagdun tajik ani chucheni jimping chaw dungenge ani sesiwa ya pet ani tamcha chene 영이 딘디게다 아니 예담 캐버 체인지레스 야오르 제 딘디ችን 송송스러.
So yesterday His Holiness gave a long life empowerment of White Tara, and during the teaching he mentioned that White Tara is a special deity who. How is my voice? Is it clear enough?
에스틱데 콘즈 께게 배정한데 디 비거티
1, 2, 3 check. 1, 2, 3 check.
Page
One,
30.
two, three, check.
Yeah,
Okay.
that is, yeah.
Okay. So yesterday, His Holiness gave a long life empowerment of White Tara, and during the teaching, he mentioned about the significance of practicing White Tara, where White Tara is considered as a tutelary deity who kind of grants blessings to those who practice, who engages in the religious practices, as well as who engages in the deeds that ultimately benefits others.
There's a Jonker Gitsenga Omtari to the Turisoas. Omtari to the Turisoa. The canon said this gentleman, Yawape, Payapuyorisra.
And on top of that, if you could recite the mantra on a daily basis, it will also benefit us.
You know? Of course. You know? Om tari tu dari turi soha. Om tari tu dari turi soha. Om tari tu dari turi soha. We come together. Om tari. Om. Om tari tu dari turi soha. Om tari tu dari turi soha. Om tari tu dari turi soha. Yeah. Tadari nganzu mixi jojiro kiyo marta asira. An chananzalaya mixi jojiro tindi. And samzu tindi yana nganzu drawing chichogres.
So as usual, we do not have any specific topics for the Friday sessions, and then therefore, if you have any questions or any specific topics that you like us to discuss, we can focus on that.
Geshela, could you talk just a little bit more about White Tara to us?
Teki.
I was going to ask more about breathing and specifically 9-round breathing, if it's important to do this, or how would you perform the 9-round breathing before meditation? Yeah.
Nibati kalas.
Nivati disagin nga tu tanda unjung komechora longru gutuk mixegi komech toa titi goma yungwala ti longru gutuk kometi kechimbo khasis chagyo ti kola chik sonu chisa.
Chidang longom yadi chamda chinan tumungwala ya de yungu yoro asira longom yadi namba mayimba pena chulu dindinalo la ya ani chik tsalongom tangi karswata dindimambu yungu yoro asira
So breathing exercise in general is kind of not an exclusive practice of Buddhism. It is common. The breathing practice or breathing exercise in general is a common practice for both Buddhist and non-Buddhist schools.
다 남비기 장롱 공야티 가서다지 센토시 림바도도 마스나 즉 섭슈디 아니 ngak shonani ta tyongyores ra ngak shonan tyongores ta ngak shonla ya ani chi rimba shishiyondi tanji tandanga zo white tarati ani chagyuk rimba tambu thera wachikla ya ta shagdo ase ani chagyu chugyu nenju lana mebi gyu sechik ta sungore ti kabdula ya tani ani zalong gomdan ta long gutuk ke chi long gomdan rimba la soba ani di tyong yores.
As far as the breathing exercise is concerned in the Buddhist tradition, it is explained, of course, in the text of Vajrayana. And again, in Vajrayana, it is further categorized into 4 different classes of Tantra. First one is known as the action Tantra, Kriya, and then the conduct Tantra, second one, and the third one is known as the Yoga Tantra, and the fourth one is known as the highest Yoga Tantra. And the Vaitara belongs to the first category, and the highest forms, highest level of the breathing exercise is explained in the highest Yoga Tantra.
Terda dinza benata ani the yedam lanchok ani jizu drama kabo ye ani karso ta jik nenju grimbati ani zoda ani chagyuk che an dig nang ta jik nyamling ki zodi kazan jawar jik song la jidan kon dodan de zodi ani chanju ki semdan ani tombani gomya di zo in sares ra.
So therefore, the practice of Vaitara belongs to the first class of Tantra, action Tantra or Kriya Tantra. And yesterday, Solenis also highlighted that even within the practice of Vaitara, the main practice should be the emptiness and bodhicitta.
Tere chenza ta jizun romance la wondi chidani ani lakpil lanchok di pi karso ta jonggong da mazun zo di kares la wondi sanji ki tile di rendo asra sanji ki tile di tsu ta ani la shar shakwa chik dire ani nganzu ya ani chu chingi kandachi chigi bayna ya ani 타바드 탐진 김비 공부를 탑직 차고라서 타바드 탐진 김비 람신주 말로 땡인디 아니 산지 콩인자 그 콩기 틀리지 아니 nganzu semla ya jug matuna teni 타바드 탐진 김비 공부 톱세디 신도 갈카고 나 산지 틀리 죽발야 아니 틀리 장주 츠 하샤자와 지존 드말야 소다 아니 생각사 아니 소왔다 아니 제니 데니 타와드 탐진 김비 공부한 주구인 바이나 아니 하장게 개발친 부여봐 어딘지 차그 요레스라.
So as far as the Vaitara is concerned, Vaitara is considered as the physical manifestation of the enlightened activities of Buddhas. So since we all are, so those who wish to attain ultimate enlightenment, we must practice and pray to White Tara, where White Tara is considered as the physical manifestation of the enlightened deed. So, in order to achieve our ultimate goal of attaining enlightenment, we must somehow seek the blessing of White Tara. So, in this regard, by praying to White Tara, then if you could engage in the practices for attaining enlightenment, it will be even become more significant.
Any that Munum Gawandi Chikulong the Masuna, so Karis Laundera, Tangazu Rimbu Nego Gores. Rimbu Yonya Godin di G Rangel Shampamia Chetuya Nubadi Dembi Rimbu Yonya, me you Dindiji Kebaina Digio Marwasra, the Kotande Marwas, Seva Meva Marwasra. Ani Yanchi Karsawa, Suzuki Pechik. Missing the chibu, the sound that the Betagi would the chipusum so much. Timado Miu Kaimena Tia, and you and a Tabatembos Kimevanza, Tia Dio Mares Taro. Takanji missing the Namolaya, me Namju, me leva Yovanza, deep age in the Ranza Maimba, Beji, and it's Simjan Tamjelaya, Pento Chituyagi, and is any Samlog Niba Yova, Gonzola Dindi Niba Yova. Dindri niba dipet and chik yong su minchene and samjan tamjila yan pendi druptungenge and chik message ki tuyagi kolong dindri kechene dindri yong yalaya and sanji ki tilit sulha shajabi jitun dramalaya so tap and tsenga dan drobayana and samdun drubya and chisik kasata mashi parto chik ne natsala soba nyongya Ani Samgamina, Devu Yoba, Malayana, Pendo Chetuya, Tindri, any Messi Tenda Damachi, Yongalaya, Jasigatan, the Pendo Yungures.
And when you pray to White Tara, our primary motivation should be pure, where we always kind of make prayer for our own long life. However, the motivation behind living long should not be stained by any kind of personal interest. If your motivation is kind of stained by any self-interest of winning over others, then that is not a correct motivation. And secondly, if your motivation of living long is only focused for your own life alone, for your own enjoyment alone, then this motivation again is not proper. And thirdly, if our motivation is such that we somehow want to live a long life for the benefit of others, and to utilize the human intelligence and contribute to the larger society. So if our motivation is like that, then it is a proper motivation. So therefore, we must pray for our long life, to live a very long life, so that we could utilize the human intelligence and contribute and benefit others. So with that motivation, if we could pray to White Tara and even recite the mantra, it will become very significant. So therefore, if you do that, as a result, we will have kind of less troubles in our life. We will enjoy more peace of mind, and we will also achieve success in our endeavor.
Canada Tona Yabana, Mungu Tamba Sogi, Namtardu, Jondi, only Tanik in Zabatili Lapchi, Janding, Kivitambatsu, the Jani Jatambaris, Lab Chogres, and it's Jizundramalaya, Jizundrama Yedam Tension, Jizundramalaya, so mixing Tapchin, and Nyamshin Andingi. Janjang Zora Chagores, Ra, din the jizo drama la ya so ta sangi gi tile rangzu di sha ding la jizo drama la ya so ta ani ji an rang da shin gi ani ji lebi gi tan tam ji ani yong sun drubya gi chedu ani jizo drama la so ta tsenga san de wa na ya ji ya tang ba tini ani zeba tile ta labshin kyang tu ya ji bena tandi chela jawur mu chi kazan so ma na shere 라 자와르무 지 니마 딱발라 야 지저드빈 생가사 아니 쳬드나 투치니 피규스 송구도스라
So similarly, if you look at the life of previous masters, you can see that all of them practice Vaitara. All of them rely on Vaitara as their own tutelary deity. So therefore, by practicing, by reciting the mantra and by praying to Tara, one could achieve spiritual attainment. So even His Holiness yesterday mentioned that he recite the mantra on a daily basis, and then he would kind of meditate, or rather pray to Vaitara on a daily basis. So therefore, if you could also follow the same practice, it will also become meaningful.
베나 단다다 람람 슬라온 디페 아 쇼지기 페 랍첸 펜도요 데바 아니 용스 차데바 디 아니 송게디 조지 반데 아디샤라 와스라 아니 조지 반데 아디샤게 람람 피기 기타지 마뇨 데바는 망부스 케어 마르스 탭탑탑지 마도 요 마레스 딘디기 벤젠디기 용야디 카르스나 조지기 겐데 그페 아니 예담 고츠 아니 지저 드말레 텐신이 아니 틀리치 발레 텐이 총여바다 세우러 와서
For example, when we talk about the Lamrim tradition, we all know the significance or the benefit of studying and engaging in the practice of Lamrim. And the source of Lamrim text is, of course, Lamp for the Path to Enlightenment by Atisha. It's a very concise text, but that text becomes a very kind of, that text has a huge impact to the larger practitioner. And the reason behind this success is really his practice and prayer to Tara.
아니 베나 자오르무치기 꾸제 남텔레야 제바나 자오르무치다 아 군딘 추시바레스라 군딘 추시 군딘 담보 자와겐드 투바니 첸 아니 지존 드라마 믹스기 아니 예담레야 텐친 하빌한 촐라야 샤니 아니 직대바다 손데블로 소바다 아니 쇼지나 여러스라 군딘 담보는 군딘 추시바다 텐지베 랍친기 아니 केवी क्यूरियाचिक gyujinchik di ani jizundrimi tilel teni chongyores.
And similarly, if you look at the life of successive Dalai Lamas, starting from the first Dalai Lama Ginjun Trip to the 14th, the present His Holiness, all of them had made huge contributions to the Dharma. And of course, the one primary reason is their blessings from Tara by praying.
Odiri dinza ta jizun drumalaya tili chuchin jizun drumalaya sovatamni gyunde drodingi midi ani nena sayana nyongwa ani tsirinwa tsamase tsi dhirinla ya chik ani tenpa dan drohalaya pendo jachi chetunginchik. Diyungo resra jizun drumala sovatamni rangi tsirinwa chik po yonga chik so tola mashawa che 아니 지 추칭이 하월로니 다지 간지 아니 젬팽이 차와도 소직 아니 레드 용약 아니 틀리치체니 아니 지존드물 소왔다 안 생각 담바이나 아니 소수 미세 디기 뎀바디 티고 쇼르야 드브데야치 티갸시야 담바 인사레스
So therefore, if we recite the mantra of Tara and if we kind of pray on the daily basis, then we will have less kind of problems in our life. We'll enjoy longevity, and when you in fact pray to Tara for your own longevity, we should not simply pray for our own life alone, but rather to live a very long life so that we could benefit others, we could contribute to the others' well-being and so on and so forth. So if so with this we could enjoy a very happy life.
Teni re da pena ani tus cheni ani jizun drama ya chobapu jizun drama so tab ani tsenga dra ani jizun drama ta ta gomya din yungur wasarwa gomya an din ji gi pena ta nima chis ni sum dundra chis tindi nang bai na ani jaja jata ba pe yabu ta yungur wasarwa anji tagas chik pi kharsa warda samlo khaya matane ani chik nganzo ta gom ja dengi din yora ta ro chida yagbure da konsul sosula pengre hajang pe thiwa chawo ani samba pusu thobu ani ngamra chimbu yebi kabdula ya chik samlo khane matane tis de tu ba na kabdu rang ya sosula ya chik ani devati ya din yungu ora sa ina ya di chik ani labsing ki chawa drup tu ya jemping ki chawa drup tu ya thawa da thamje ki ba drup tu ya la peshi khaya peng mares tarwa ta dindi gi labsing ki chawa drup ya chidu tini jizon drama tabala ya trilogy adus ani nima kashi rinla ya pen tsenga sa tsenga bumtra kashi chikpe sa che adun na bai na ani pe masaba yabu yosares
So therefore, I think if we could recite the mantra and pray on the daily basis, I think we will get immense benefit from it. And even if we could kind of sit on a retreat for a specific period of time, we will also get immense benefit from this, because these days people also sometimes meditate without without a kind of proper thinking, or without even thinking, only to reduce stress. So such kind of meditation may have some impact on the temporarily, but if your kind of ultimate goal is to attain enlightenment, then such meditation may not have huge impact. So therefore, if you could recite the mantra and pray and even sit in the retreat for extended period of time, then definitely we could get immense benefit.
inda devi rinla ya ta jizu drumi gi ta menga sawara ta menga gyuba di ko chagyu gi gyuba ji chago ya za ani chagyu gi gyuba de la ya ji ani karkyong che ya di ani ko ya gyuba de la ya thomo mai be menga ji chago res ro karkyong sende che jin pe na nyima dun ra chi sa ji rinla ya karkyong na ne ja ji ani pena ta chik tsong da gokpa la soba digi 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 na ya pa ka ne rwa kanji udu sini pe ani karso ta chik lusem nika pe ani chik shidi pakpeb jigi tola ya sha ne ani jizun dhumi tsenga bumtra kashiri sawa na gyasha gyata batini pendo pe yores tarwa.
So as I mentioned earlier, the practice of Tara Vaitara belongs to the first class of Tantra, Action Tantra Kriya, and it has a kind of its own specific lineage where practitioners are kind of recommended to remain vegetarian during the course of the retreat. So therefore, if you could remain complete vegetarian and even avoid consuming garlic and onion, And then if you could, sit on the retreat for a specific period of time and then recite the mantra, then definitely we could get immense benefit out of it.
Because the same patient diki penata chitang karkyongche tinane dachi ani chiktsong da gogbala sobadi ani delya kado asra tilago gaj goba gyunzenji gyacha gyatambata the yogora yorwasra kansana and do suchi lagomyala soba ani odu skavlaya semba the hajangi ani karso dachi khonyambodoch ani di gogudasra nanzo sem kho manyo ba di sem chakdang shukchi ondi pena ndecha shukchi ondi ani sem di kho manyo ba chagorasra chagorasta tan ndecha yongdang di ani rikchi zo marig biongi yungorasta ndecha zo marig biongi yungor inaya ani ndecha di mangcheji ani karso dachi lug tone kam gi tone ani ndecha kiyaji nganzola tende yosares tro kazela soban ani tendang tone ani ndecha kiyaji tenza pena zongda gobala soba mixig zongda gobala soba dilaya lug kam giyagi ani kol nibaji yores this sigdazra lu kam gyondi nganzo le tangbo lu kam gyondi decha ranging pari ngoresta dindi kitako ani mixing dindi yosare sirwa tiza ani zongolo sobo maseba na ani decha mayong yak decha shukchung doyak nganzo le tangbo begita chi ani ditende pendo yungu yosare
So during the practice, during the retreat of Tara, the practitioners are also expected to remain vegetarian and, refraining from consuming any form of meat, and even by avoiding onion and garlic. And the significance behind this practice is that when you engage in practices like this, our mind should be in a very balanced manner. And when there is an imbalances in our mind, then our practices will not become effective. So in order to maintain the balance of mind, we must even avoid consuming things that may ultimately contribute for the imbalances of mind. For instance, when we talk about imbalances of mind, it refers to kind of cultivating afflictive emotions such as attachment. When there is strong attachment in our mind, then of course there is imbalances. Our mind is not in a balanced state. So in order to remain, in order to keep our mind balanced, we must make sure that afflictive emotions, kind of does not arises in our mind. And as a beginner, there are certain food items that may contribute for the attachment or other afflictive emotions to arise. For instance, consuming onion and garlic also have an effect on the kind of physiological level to increase attachment. So therefore, during such practices, it is advised to avoid consuming onion and garlic.
keje mamu thide ba dangi ma da ani zong da go ba ke garil liu nas pena chang do na ani sem thuk do res la di kola goji ju da ra chang tong ba na chang di gi ta ani chang chhe me ban tong di ani ras do da sem thuk do da ra ani sem thuk ye di ta namba san ji bi shon ni ta ani 개체슈 the same mantu야 쳇 셈버 장마서야 the number sanji 비추기다 비기 아니 고든 조지라더라 다 카제지 톤의 셈 투도나 다디 카제디 자원이니 드니 아니 빵고야지 가즈나 깔레 참물로 셈 만투야 쳇 셈 야보용야 쳇 깔리 개브니 아니 카제 토마 간지 세는 셈 투주와나 디조칸가 트롤라서르지레다서 좀는디 나와치 메세드 디라다다 어디난싱기 아니 지 카지 릭지기 아니 루캄기 발 때니 아니 대차키기 여바이나 아니 카지디 까고야지 작도 하다 겐 가스키
So I've asked around about the significance of refraining from eating onion and garlic. For instance, there is a significance for every practice. For instance, Buddha strictly gave instruction not to drink any alcohol, and the reason is that if we drink too much alcohol, of course, we will be totally kind of intoxicated, and then when that happens, we lose our senses of the mind, and the whole purpose, the entire purpose of Buddha Dharma or the practice is to gain clarity of our mind, and then by consuming a small amount of alcohol or a food item, if we remain if we lose the clarity of mind, then it will somehow jeopardize our entire effort to remain calm. So therefore, we must refraining from consuming any kind of food items that ultimately contribute for losing clarity of mind as well.
어디르다 딘자 아니 간지 토르베 아니 콜몬상마지 케니 카지나 까종치 르보이나 짱마다 지 아니 쇼기야 랑바다 지 양랑가 튀야라 소바 아니 네카이나 짱마 지 아니 쫑다 고발라 소베 지 아니 아 공가데 라비아 지버라다 공가기 누가 감 기거라데 우이러 두스마 까야레스다 두스마 삼모롱아지 셰바디 아니 타르투나 아니 작단 유무 게야라야 아니 고 규르고 여반사 작단 유무 게야라야 규르에 릭사마로 아니 파까치 라 가지 수준의 까치니 아니 아 저도 좀 소다 아니 생각사 아니 니마 카시 주스데바나 야치 야담 펜도여스더라
So therefore, during the practice, we must try to refrain from consuming food items that may contribute for the for developing or for afflictive emotions. Then we must refrain from consuming them, and then also during the practice. It is recommended to kind of clean the place that you are doing the practice, even keep our body very clean. So these are recommended, and also refraining from kind of certain food items that may ultimately contribute to the for arising of afflictive emotions such as garlic, onion, and even egg for that matter. So these, by consuming certain types of food that may have an impact on our body to cultivate afflictive emotions. So we must refrain from them all as well.
일단 간지 자규기 비기 nenjurlaya zu zendingin jimana 아니 종 고바 공아 샬라 소바 간지 아니 륜컴 기야게 아니 륜컴 기발 되는다 아니 되차 기인 거라더라 어두 삼월로 봐 아니 까치니 가세단단 순전히 배 아두스체니 아니 리버딤니 아니 지존드말에 소왔다 테니 찬주고 산다 또 많이 공바이나 텐텐테니다 아니 메세드 텐다 데마치 메세드 텐다 데마치 아니 라운드 시한 탐지기 텐다 드브퉁행기 미지 용야라야 태좀이어서 말했어.
So therefore, during the practice of action tantra or the kriya tantra, um, emphasis is placed on our action or the practice. So during this particular time, we must try to kind of, refraining from consuming certain food, certain drinks, and by refraining from them, and then if we could engage the practice in a strict manner, then definitely we will get immense benefit. And on top of that, the most important thing is, of course, the meditation on bodhicitta and emptiness.
나도 전에 되는지 로종 그런 버디기 따지 세통부의 차원디 단단 간주 뉴무도 좀 개버 삼기 뺑 간주 뉴무비 샤원디 겨드고도 하서라 뉴무비 샤원디 겨르전에 되는지 자와 제 모롱야 제로야 제고와디 제 마시와 개첨부디만 개첨부의 뭐만통와 개춘조들의 쇼치기 아니 차당 로기에야 딘디 연구여라서라 가진 안주다 뉴문 도숨기 샤원도 겨드비 까불야 아니지 지존드말에 소왔답지 어두치야데 하장 개첨부레샤스 다 드니야 세 통부레 온디 간sam질에 뉴문 깨바이나야 빼는 되차로 소바 깨바이나야 되차기 샤원도 파마겨봐 되차 출 아니 소수기 출배 아니 라완츠니 추쿠토야 되차기 빼 아니 가서다지 되차 람들롱세지 다 깨지 딘디 체투야게 고 아니 림바질라 레요레스다 다디 레바나 딘디 줄로가레스 그냥 그 고바산나데 종산나데 샤산나데 가르사바나 그냥 딘디 네세드 레요바나 아니 카지 아니 단도 세바이나야 로 되차 람디 케투요바나 아니 되차 게바이나야 그냥 네지 용구요 말레스 단디 차랑 안줄라 되차 레바이나 안줄라 네바지마도 안줄 되차 페이지 체진 아니 젬팽 젠든 체투에 니보 코르 메비 갑도 되차 까고야 백케신 버리스더라.
So during the practice, and particularly at the beginner's level, we often get influenced by afflictive emotions. And when an afflictive emotion arises in us, we immediately become overpowered, or rather influenced by the afflictive emotions, and we can't even kind of stop them. So at that particular period, at the beginner's level, it is really crucial to refrain from consuming and eating certain food items and to be kind of careful with our own behavior. However, as we advances on the path, on the practice, then you will reach a stage where the negative emotions could not immediately impact you. They may arise, but still you can somehow you could control them, or rather you could transform them. You could utilize the afflictive emotions into path. You could transform the afflictive emotions into path. And when you reach that stage, then kind of physical actions and kind of certain food items do not have immediate impact to us. So when you reach that stage, then you don't have to be very careful about the food that you take, because they do not have any kind of immediate impact to us. However, at the beginner's level, it is recommended to be cautious about our own behavior.
딘디 따지 소수 샘 네세도디야 세통부 레온디 되는지 아니 가서 따지 샘 난기 쳇다 아니 차슈 삽슈 약슈르기다 아니 샘디야 아니 온디 교약에 배주체약이다 아니 뉴bat 참질 레지기 요레스라 다디 네거스 다지 샘 신도 차비기 샘 댄사기 아니 직 아니 짱롱라 소바 아니 배주 제토약이다 아니 탑시지기 요레스 다디 탑시 디 짱롱 고메드레스라 지단 내가 사오쇼 짱롱 고메 롱구둘라 소바 고메디 아니 신도 차비기다 직 아니 샘디 아 배주 제약체도 아니 짱롱 공고요레스 다다스 아니 쳇당게 비다지 아니 동반이게 내서 가야 고와 매바 아니 잔주고 셈라야 아니 초르watsam에 매바 아니 딘리지기 아니 짱롱 공대바나 특히 첨부스기 자기요 말레스 장부시와나 다자 동반인의 잔주고 셈라야 고하다 아니 지 가서다지 아니 콤디 아니 약부 영해지기 아니 짱롱 공바이나다 랍친 쇼샤고레스 가스
Okay. um, so um, then we must try to kind of utilize the subtle potential of our mind. And in order to do that, in order to utilize this subtlest kind of mind, uh, then the exercises of breathing also becomes relevant and important. However, as far as the Buddhist practice is concerned, if your breathing exercise or even some yogic exercises for that matter is not kind of conjoined with the understanding of emptiness and bodhicitta, then they are not considered a very kind of kind of useful technique. So therefore, in order to make sure that that exercise benefits us, the exercise should be kind of influenced or rather conjoined with a certain understanding of emptiness and bodhicitta. So with that, it will ultimately help us to gain or rather utilize the subtlest and the most powerful potential of our mind.
근데 당한주 람람 장고라라 람람 장고라다 아니 람람 첸디 총송을 써봤다 장고라 안 디나지 제바이나 야시 야담 아주 돔 잡투 그랬어 다 람람 첸디 총송 송에 소리 람마 총가 버라다 장고람 총가 버 첸보 장고람 총가 버 첸보 다가스 마러 왔더라 잠블리나 나와야 다 지산지 좀 된디 페비 젤이야 아니 코난신지 다 총만용이지 기우식 총바라다 산기기 템바 용수 조바데 아니 가서다 지 만노와 만투바 거런 만투바 아니 지 신지 말로바 페기다 마 이토라 방에디 아니 여튼가 바나시 수직 총요 말했어 야차 야담게 야차 야담바 랍트 수직 총요 말했어 다 디리 티그 마 텔라 파비자비 다 람름 첸딘 총솜 나로 치 때바이나 아니 람 냠슬란당 그럼바 디티나 텔라 파비어레스 아니 디낭로라에 기우총 딘 첸비 람름 시비 갑둘라 짱롱 곰당게 데 칙칙 된거만 다스라 칙칙 된 말했어 다디 가두 있나 개첨부 인바이나 니버도 고고 여바나 된 거다 내가 제 참을로 비기 가서 다지 로 종이 럼바드 tum비고네 내가 용수 저버디 디나 만두에 제요 말했어 인바이나야 짱롱검당 럼바디 퉁문다스러 디 네세들 레메바인자 숭고요 말했어 띵 니버도 당한서 샘을 샤고르스더라 केउ छुंग लम खंडस जांगुंदो केउ ड्रिंग लम खंडस केउ छिंबि लम खंड ध्यान दोशोक दोइछोक त 아니 나라야 통디 단도야 집에는 자기 주기라 소비 아니 나노라야 자롱검당 럼 딘디요 마스 타르투온디다 아니 람시온디다 롱 구두검당라 소바디다 아니 타르투기 람우톤다 숭고요레스 디싱고르스다 딩이버드 싱고르스라
So since we all are, learning and the stages of the path to enlightenment, Lamrim text, Lama Tsongkhapa composed this text, and he has kind of made a huge contribution for kind of distilling the entire path in such a concise manner. So if you go through the text, you do not find any mention about the relevance or the significance of practicing breathing exercises. So the point is that during the path of small capacity, middling capacity, and great capacity, particularly the practice of Sutra Yana, um, the certain kind of breathing exercises or yogic exercises are not recommended. However, then when you later practice the tantra, and particularly when you reach the final stage of tantra practice, highest yoga tantra, and then the practice of particularly the ninefold breathing exercise is taught there, so it becomes relevant that otherwise if these practices are relevant for all the practitioners, then I'm sure Lama Tsongkhapa also mentioned about their significance in other parts as well.
the dindijiri dini jamba tyo dindiyevesra
Yes. So if you have any additional other questions, we can take that.
Thank you for thank you very much. Regarding the mantra, in daily life practice, sometimes it's difficult to find time to practice fully. And what will you recommend in when to recite the mantra and when is correct? And my question is as well to where to fit the mantra. Sometimes mantra comes when I'm driving or when I'm doing the dishes. And is it correct? And is it a good time to recite that mantra and to go in that practice? Or should we not refrain the mantra, but refrain that time and dedicate it full time to that practice? Thank you.
Kurang tiwadi di isa taki tsenga tangaya kola jik sungra pina dweme tsenga tabu. Didi ani jidang tingsa da bet tuju tsangma del tang chiya da kali kabu yungudwa samre. Ani dindi kapsula nganzu tsamdi sharda shorla dindi china diki yorwis pina moda tang bi kap tabu da yana khala subi kap tabu da tsenga tangaya chora dindi tabu china diki yona yamena inchi miji ko tuju loks kora tuyonche ani dindi chigu uras.
Where are you from? Europe. France ni insako. I like Europe. I don't like Australia. Sorry. Europe chiusa.
Yes.
Europe chiusa. There is a Tering on Zambling Mima, Shada, and Tiwari was ra. Tiwari, Chitangit some Dawina, Tiwachagoya Roch. Number Sanji Chukona cheating in between the Tiwa Shores. Tiwa Shores. When a Lamatsunga be Namtalachi Jevana. Lamatsunga be good se Cambodia, but Tiwa Janjani, and Kutsi Zoyores. 타는 심쿠야 돼. 주주 심어도 심쿠요 말. 뒤서 말했더라. 아, 제발했어. 이내 아주 제와 차사기에 지금 미유로다. 다 로가 차로 얼마도 상황을 제발했더라.
So it is true that we all are very busy in our own life. And even if you are kind of a sincere practitioner, you must be also very busy because if you look at the life of Lama Tsongkhapa, you could find that he has spent his entire life in a very busy kind of schedule where he spends only 4 hours to sleep. But the question is that what we are busy about is different.
그래서 더 장부시에나 주주 시바 숨도 제가 시발라 니 세바다로 알람 기드기메스로 이나 니 세바다 달랑 마잔다 다얀지 비 간덴데야도 뜻지 야고지 차이 말 삼성로 학던도 로디야스레나 로십 주시행anga 주갈레나 니 트로디 슈크체리기도 왔어 저러지다 아 니에는 지금말에 삼성로지 진 랑게였어 다 티워라다 아 티워차라다 니에 티즈 피기 땅두고 말아 안 학돈도 다지 아니 겨울무치기 아니 쿠신 센트라야 삼로타 학돈 당가도나 다친중 간에 게비신이 땡치네 아니 메시 살롱 좀 와라스 학돈 당가랑 게 짜빌라마 당원에 타니 다지 가든 숨된 게 짜빌라마 딱 아니 게르무치도 오진바나 아니 님만인가 배서 튀기레스 님만인가 배서 튀기레 공다 추즈 따치와 죽지 바랄 섬그 쇼기 추즈 숨발라 샹거레스 쇼기 추즈 숨발라 마샤나가 칸든 사유 말레스 가즈나 다 미참아야 랑 쇼자 똥 참아서나 밀 배지 튀야 최고라 다 칸든 된 뒤즈요 말 두스는 거다 두두 참아 샘르직 텐디 다 콘주 네세 텐티 통부질레어다 단다 두스는 걸 안주 안로지 네세 강에 말려 니데는 사원이 지금 말해서 삼성 딘디가 초월리기도 쓰러 간지 지워진 로고였다 간지 지워진 이내 셈바 기부도 쓰러 셈바 베 기부다 딘디기 지워진 로바나 셈바 베 기부 차고도 하더라
So usually I would get up around 4 a.m. in the morning. I usually don't set an alarm, but somehow I get up around that time. And when the time, that time came, I, feel like if I don't get up at that time, I may not be able to, finish the recitation, do the practice, and so on and so forth. So somehow compel me to get up. So therefore, the point is that if you look at the life of His Holiness or even my immediate teacher, we could kind of seek lot of inspiration. For instance, my own immediate teacher, he used to teach Buddha Dhamma. He used to take classes for the entire day. And since he need to teach during the entire day, he would usually go to bed around 10:30 and 11. And then he would wake up around 3 a.m. in the morning. So the point is that if if you didn't get up early enough, you won't complete the recitation and other practices. And when everybody's wake up, then you need to start the classes. So therefore, in order to make sure he would complete the recitation and the other practices, he would get up very early in the morning. In that manner, he himself is very busy in his schedule. So when I usually think about the practices of such great teachers, I often feel that they are in fact, highly realized masters, and if they are very careful, if they are still very kind of careful about their practice, then we as a beginner should, uh, even be more strict with our time and practice. So in that way, if you could follow the same kind of practices, we definitely will um, start enjoying it, particularly when we when our age advances, particularly when we reach around 40s, in the early 50s, then we will be kind of instinctively more inclined to wake up early in the morning and then complete the recitation and other practices.
다 릭치 티와디 다 레가 피기 다 벤저 메낭안서 다 네투 말다 벤저 고거다 벤저 위치도 다 뒤즈 쇼지 땅 거다 라 뒤즈 만슈도 벤저 위치도 땅 아니 티체도 다 레갈레 티체도 태워진 로거다 대카요 말았으라 다 되니까 지금 다지 류기 또그 아니 지금 등칸라 소바 아니 딘디기 체도 아 지워지기 차고레스 지금 수저 넘버 산지비 취업이 내마 체den에서 조 샘그 되기 체도다 잼펜 드비기 체 아니 지워지기 차고레스 다 딩이 가야 맹인지 루셈니 가야 somdan 미싱인지 미진 바이나 되네야 연 초스케문도 하서라 간지 지워 메나 먼저 메시디 아니 녀도 소리지 인지 또 boring 세레 very boring 제 뜻차기로 하서라 지워지 고거다 제 샘그체도 오종그체도 지워 어머나 류디기체도 지워 고거레스 인벤다 다 쪼디 샘바 기부였나 기부여봐 샘바 기부면 기부면 땅 우연에서 들어와서 된서 샘그 디기기 체도 뒤즈 때씩 땅 거야다 신도는 계시 모래샤스 랄 참말로 비 뒤즈 용수 접어디 개체시 뒤즈 약시 짜체시 참말로 아니 벤주드비약 체도 땅샤와나 아니 샘발라 강한 태야기 냥같이 야차야다마 연구였어레스로 어디 삼당 거야 기지 모래샤스 디체도 되니지 아니 뒤즈 직된친으로 뒤즈 마무된 거막 까무 쥐정하지 뒤즈 직된친 까무 쥐정하기는 뒤즈 된데 니기는 뒤즈 촐라로 말했어 된 투그랬다로 수수 맞대 버려 맞대 된 투그랬어 그때니 아니 상무 야부 있다 아니 생각 가주사토도 사지 담아들려야 아니 말람시켜지 섬전 탐집에 디기데 데마지 용 쇼세 직 디마도 라마든 텐디지 랍다 니마디 아니 메세디 추수 까마디 된다 데마세디 차고랬다로
So we all are sorry. We all are kind of busy in our own life, and on the other, of course, sometimes we are busy with our work, with our job, and that is also necessary. And for I mean, to make a living, we have to, we have to kind of do the job. That's also important. And on the other hand, and there are certain people, practitioners, who would dedicate the entire time for practice. So the difference is that the practitioners are dedicating their time and effort to achieve peace of mind. And if we are kind of predominantly, or if we are only kind of busy with our job, then we are focusing only for our own only for work, so to speak. So the point is that um, if you are not busy with something, then our life may become very boring. Either you are busy with your job, with your work, or you're busy with your practice. So we have to keep our life busy, but it's crucial to know what we are, in what way we are keeping our life busy, either in Dharma practice or with our jobs. So the point is that if you could dedicate some time, um, for instance, on the daily basis, if you could allocated only 10 minutes or 10 to 15 minutes on a daily basis and try to kind of do some recitation and prayer at the end, that will also have a huge impact to you over the course of the day. So therefore, usually we think we're very busy, we could not kind of spend time, but if we are very serious, we can definitely spend at least 10 to 15 minutes on the daily basis, and on that time, if we recite and do some practices, it will definitely have a huge impact.
Tini inda ji kala suvi kabdula ya, motor tangwe kabdula ya, legacy kabdula, tsenga tang tuba na, peya wores, right?
And then, of course, you can also recite while you are driving, while you're doing some other thing. During that time, if you could recite, it's also recommended.
No more questions?
Geshela, I just wanted to ask if, when you've asked about foods that are disruptive to the mind and cause afflictive emotions, whether caffeine or coffee has come up as one of those foods or substances?
Tandakila tangi pechashana so kala ki rikchiki lyogi kham chebata telitindi tosha kebatindi yungkuri sungudwas dinalo langa so coffee tungbayna dinalo la zechi yungda caffeine dindi ki riktiki yanga so lyogi kham chebata dindi na tsugi yanasa.
당이게 중국바 this 사초고 말에 슬랍데디 니만 코라 당이디 카리나 삼고라라 니만 망불이야 지 당이 미망부 투데디 깨지 테데라다라 안 콘주 딘딜라 아니 지 아니 메 종 딘딜라야 티치디게 안 두주 돌라다 카시우즈르 당이 당아라 샘나라다 디자자 야다마 인사리 삼성기 가서다지 니버소르지 다 니송스러 아니 중국어로 써버디 단다 커피 등에 싱금에다스러 잠시월 싱금에스 빼나 차로에나 차페 몸 동고에서 나라 자동디기 지기 샘낭로라야지 작당글로 슉치르 드로익 삼성 그 초와스키 만도스러 차동디 지 상부로지다 아니 가르스와다지 녀토 메교로지 안차 아니 지 빼져지 때와이나야 안지 상부소라지 용구도 왔다디 디 용구도 왔다디 디기다 코피도 나셔라 동메서라 강호세 케메 코 신부세 케문도 동구메스 딩아 규메서라.
So, so earlier I mentioned that consuming certain food items such as garlic may cause afflictive emotions, and since I heard that, I have asked this for many people, and even in some treatises about medicine, they also mention about the same thing. So because of that, I was somehow become convinced that eating certain food items have in kind of implication towards our mind. However, I'm not very sure about coffee. I don't like coffee much, and I also don't drink much coffee, so I'm not very sure about the you know impact of caffeine. However, I usually drink tea, and whenever I drink tea, it somehow make me fresh. So because of that, if I wanted to read, I also feel fresh after having some tea, and I do not experience kind of any feeling that tea is somehow contributing for negative emotions to arise.
Ngi geru mu chege shoge leader ni chapeja leader ni chugres ane lele peja tikwa na pe tani ting sabo ane chik chuzu ni sum rowa na kyuni chik gen ya kole kharo diri kiyo mares ro ande chidi 자든지 야구도 쓰라 라면서 같이 자야고 괜히 잡혀야고 너무 됐어.
So, my teacher, he would usually make, you know, like 2 liters of tea in the morning, and then he would start his classes, and then he would, during the class, even if he straight, kind of teach for 2 hours, there is, we don't notice any sign of exhaustion and tiredness. So similarly, I also like drinking tea, and some people say that tea is not healthy or not good, but somehow I like tea.
Okay, thank you. 도전아.
Yes.
잘한다.
Yes.
Okay, we'll turn to the small booklet, the final Lamrim prayers on page 12. From my 2 types of merits as vast as space that I have amassed from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become a chief leading Buddha for all those whose mind's wisdom eye is blinded by ignorance. Even if I do not reach this state, may I be held in your loving compassion for all lives, Manjushri. May I find of the best complete graded parts of the teachings, and may I please all the Buddhas by my practice. Using skillful means drawn by the strong force of compassion, may I clear the darkness from the minds of all beings with the points of the path as I have discerned them. May I uphold the Buddha's teachings for a very long time. With my heart going out with great compassion in whatever direction the most precious teachings have not yet spread or once spread have declined, may I reveal this treasure of happiness and aid. May the minds of those who wish for liberation be granted boundless peace, and the Buddha's deeds be nourished for a long time by even this graded path to enlightenment completed, due to the wondrous virtuous conduct of the Buddhas and their sons. May all human and non-human beings who eliminate adversity and create conducive conditions for practicing the excellent paths never be parted in any of their lives from the purest path praised by the Buddhas. Whenever someone makes an effort to act in accordance with the tenfold Mahayana virtuous practices, may he always be assisted by the mighty ones, and may oceans of prosperity spread everywhere. May the precious supreme jewel bodhicitta not yet born arise. May that arisen not decline, but increase more and more. Thank you. I just have one announcement. Our next Friday teaching will be on this Friday, the 7th of March. And between then, we have a Vipassana retreat starting this evening in the Gompa. And then we have Losa celebrations on the 28th of February. So our next Friday teaching will be the 7th of March with Geshela. So, thank you. Thank you.